Hey guys, and welcome back. So obviously with everything going on at the minute, we thought it was only right we do a trip update kind of plan video.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people doing these. We've wanted to do it since we've known that trip plans were going to be different, going to be changed, whatever. We just wanted to wait until we had a set plan in place before we let you guys know.
So obviously this is going to be not like a boring video, but it's more like informative. Basically just saying what our plans are, why we've chosen to do what we have, and then we'll go over like a load of positives and like negatives as well, just to kind of help.
It is going to be a very positive video.
Oh yeah.
Like we basically wanted to make the video not to be like, oh my god, like this has happened, or oh that it's meant that this can happen, like be really positive or really negative. Like we know so many people have had once in a lifetime trips cancelled, that they may not ever be able to go on now due to health reasons or whatever. But yeah, we just wanted to like make this video because a lot of people were not sure what their options could be, and maybe it'll give you a little idea of how we've dealt with the COVID situation and our Disney trip.
Yeah. So we were due to go for 2 weeks in October. This year.
2020.
2020, indeed. And we were flying from Gatwick. We were flying with Virgin.
Yep.
We had the V room booked, and obviously we had bubble seats because obviously the 747s were still about.
Yeah.
And we also had the hotel booked at the airport for the night before we flew, because we were going to go up the night before.
Yeah. So then we were going to be in Orlando for 2 weeks. We were staying at the Comfort Suites Main Gate East in Kissimmee. So we had 14-day Disney and Universal tickets. We haven't yet bought them, but we were going to be doing a day in Busch Gardens, just us two. So we the whole holiday's planned with my dad, my stepmom and my stepmom's parents. So there was a big group of us going. We'd also bought tickets to go to the Blue Man Group, to do Mickey's Not So Scary. So we had lots planned. Basically, we personally as a couple, out of the 6 of us going, had paid for all of our part of the holiday, apart from the rest of our spending money. So we were completely done and dusted with it. And then obviously COVID happened.
And obviously we kept seeing like things about like people cancelling their holidays, and it kept getting later and later and later, and like for some people became more difficult as it got like closer to the time as well. And obviously with pretty much all the like airline companies and holiday places, blah blah blah, it was really hard to like change, or like took a long time to change like your holiday around. You just
couldn't get through to them because they were only dealing with people who were flying within like the next 72 hours or something. Now, so we have moved our holiday. This at first was like something we really didn't want to do. It's Alex's first trip. It's a honeymoon trip for my stepmom's parents. I haven't been since 2014, so it is a big trip for everyone.
Definitely.
So we did not want to compromise anything with the holiday. So with that be meet and greets, rides, queue times, just everything in general. It sounds like for the next at least 6 months, it's not going to be the same. Now for people who have already been lots, who go regularly, that's not necessarily going to be a problem because you've experienced it all lots, you're going to continue to experience it lots. So if it's a bit different for a while, it doesn't matter. But if it's for a first trip or an important trip, we felt like that it needed to have the full Disney magic.
Yeah, definitely. And I think especially because obviously it costs so much money to go. Like you don't want to go and then come back feeling you've only had half a holiday.
Like we're both young, we've worked extremely hard to be able to afford to go on this holiday. So we didn't want to feel like it was wasted by having half of what we'd paid for. So we have chosen to move it. It was a decision between all of us, and obviously we all got a bit upset, but looking at it at the wider perspective, as you will see later on in this video, we actually have way more positives than there are negatives to actually moving. And I'm genuinely even more excited about our trip now than I was before when we were going in like 100 and something days.
So our new plan. So we're still flying with Virgin. Obviously, we're going to be in a different plane now because all the 747s are now retired, which I think, was it the end of this year they were going to be retired, I think?
Yeah, I think it was the end of this year, start of next year, but they've obviously just...
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, with all this going on, like, they're expensive, they are a bit old. Like, they are really good planes and whatnot, and people obviously love the bubble seats, which we're really looking forward to.
It would have been both of our first times flying in the bubble.
Yeah, and we did have that there and back. But we're on, like, the newer planes now. It's like the A330,
A330 or A350, I think it's
something
A330.
like that. Yeah, which apparently is like a much quieter plane. Like, and there's still going to be plenty of room and whatnot, so we can't really complain with that. We're still going.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with our seats. I don't know whether, like, we haven't spoken to my dad about it. So my dad's the one who, like, books and deals with all of the important stuff. I don't know whether we will upgrade or just stick with economy.
Yeah.
I've flown economy before, it's great.
Yeah.
So,
like, there's no drama.
No.
So at the airport, obviously, we had the V room booked. Now this one's a bit tricky because obviously you've probably seen Virgin are no longer at Gatwick, but it's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
So they're like leasing out their slot to other airlines, so they haven't lost their Gatwick slot. So we're not sure by next October if we're going to be flying from Heathrow or Gatwick.
Back at Gatwick.
But I know when your dad spoke to them, they said that if we're from Heathrow, they can try and get us in like the club room. It's like just like the airport's basically lounge, isn't it?
Yes, they said there's a slim possibility, like there's rumours that if Virgin have to stay at Heathrow for such a long time, they will possibly build a V room there. But yeah, they said if not, we'll either get a full refund or they can try and fit us in one of the other lounges.
Yeah, so that one's still like up in the air a bit because obviously we don't know what airport we're going to be at.
Yeah.
But again, that's not like, obviously we're looking forward to the V room, but it's easily something you can go without. It's just like an added luxury at the airport, really.
Yeah, at the end of the day, for me, I don't care what airport I go from, what plane I fly on, as long as I get there safely, I don't care.
Yeah,
I
literally.
really don't care.
As for the hotel we were staying in the night before, that will still happen because we were staying at the Premier Inn at Gatwick.
Yeah.
And then we were just going to stay at the Premier Inn at Heathrow, which is, I think you have to get a bus from the one at Heathrow to the actual like airport.
There's none actually like on location. Like Gatwick.
So moving on to when we're actually in Florida, Orlando, the hotel we were staying in was currently unavailable to like rebook. I think it's purely because you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can actually book that hotel.
Yeah.
So we didn't really want to risk the prices because if you wait like closer to the time, the prices of the holiday, the hotel can like shoot up.
Everything,
Then you're risking not actually being able to get that hotel still. So we have gone with a different hotel. So it's still for 2 weeks, pretty much the exact same time period. I think it's like we'll be going a day before.
Yeah, it's literally identical, but obviously because of the months and everything, it's just...
Yeah, so it's still like 2 weeks in October. And we're now going to be staying at the Hawthorne Suites, Lake Buena Vista?
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it. So this hotel is still a Disney partner hotel, as was the other one we were staying in. But this one's actually on a better location.
Yeah.
So it's literally, I think... It's on pretty much the same road as Disney.
I think Dad said literally you come out of the hotel, you go one way, you can go to Disney, you go the other way and you go to Universal. You're really close to everything, which is great. Yeah,
so it actually sounds like it's a lot better location. Did say it was a little bit more dated, but when we looked at the pictures, it is a little bit dated, but still looked really nice.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of hotels like off Disney are quite dated,
and it still looks nicer than the ones that I've stayed in previously. Obviously I stayed in them a long time ago, so they were even more dated then. But yeah, so we moved that and it was so easy to move it. It was a little bit more expensive, which we're literally about to get onto. So like all the parks and the events and everything like that we were doing is still staying the same. We haven't done it all yet, but the majority of those have or in the process of being changed over already, which once again was so easy to do. Yeah. As we said, we've had to move the hotel. There was a slight increase in the hotel price, but considering the amount we might have had to have paid, to change and stay at the same hotel. This is such a small cost. So I think it cost us about £115 each to change our hotel. So that's just the price increase between this year and next year. So in the grand scheme of how much you pay for the holiday, that's not a lot. So the way that everything got moved, we had booked through Virgin, the hotel, the flights, everything. Now my dad was supposed to be in Florida literally as we speak. He was supposed to be there at this time. So obviously he got to speak to them to sort out his May trip. He then said, like, obviously I have got this 2-week trip booked in October. This is all of the details. Are you able to sort anything out whilst we're on the phone now, to save us waiting months and months or sitting on the phone for hours and hours and not getting through? And he said the lady at Virgin was absolutely amazing. She was genuinely really lovely. She did everything that she could. She was really understanding. Obviously they're all working literally from their living rooms. So like, it's just amazing. Like, we really appreciate all of the hard work Virgin are doing right now. If you're flying after July, you are supposed to get charged to move your holiday. I don't know why the lady decided to, but she did not charge us to move our holiday. And that genuinely, like, just as a kind gesture from her, because maybe he had 2 holidays booked, I don't know, it's actually like made me speechless how nice that is, because I feel awful. So many people are having to pay so much money to move their holidays.
I mean, I don't know what like Virgin are doing now. They might have changed that policy, but the fact that like we technically should have had to pay like the increase, like,
it's just amazing. Like, so yeah, with Virgin the only extra cost we've had is the increase for our hotel. Now with our park tickets, so we had the 14-day ultimate ticket for Disney and Universal for attraction tickets direct. I have sent them an email basically explaining our holiday has moved. Now because we'd already paid all of our tickets off by the date that this policy came in, we basically had the option to go anytime between now and the end of September next year, and our tickets were open. They were extended through most of next year, but obviously we're going in October. So we basically sent them an email and said, we're going to send the tickets back to you. We would like a refund, or we would just like to pay the extra, preferably just pay the extra and get tickets for next year. So we've sent them off. It's like the highest postage you can get, because it's the only postage that actually covers the value of the tickets. And we've sent them an email, and I'm currently waiting a response from them. But my stepmom's parents have done it. They hadn't already paid all of theirs off, and they literally, I think it was like £26 cheaper or something.
The tickets came up cheaper, which is a bit weird.
But attraction tickets have always been really amazing to deal with. Like, they've got great customer service, so I'm not worried about that at all.
As for Mickey's Not So Scary, obviously this is like a separately ticketed event, but luckily they've refunded it onto a voucher for us, which normally, because it's like a limited thing of the year, it's set times and that, it's usually you can't refund it or like exchange it, whatever. But obviously because of like the circumstances and that, they have refunded it onto a voucher, which next year we can then buy the tickets again, and there'll just be probably a slight increase with the tickets, so that we have to pay the difference.
As soon as the tickets become available, it'll just be rebook them again, maybe pay a little bit extra, job done.
So again, like, they've been so good.
It's amazing that Disney have offered the refunds. Especially considering how much money they're losing out at the moment. Like,
it's just crazy, because obviously we get that a lot of people have like issues with changing their holiday at the minute. But through attraction tickets, Virgin, it's gone so smoothly and so quick.
Now I know people have had problems with Virgin, and it's different for everyone, but we genuinely like appreciate all of the hard work that everyone's putting in to fix everyone's holidays and give them what they would like and what they need to be able to go away after all of this is over. So the only things we've actually got left to sort out for this current trip is the Blue Man Group, which shouldn't be a problem because that's something that they run all year round. We can just change the date, and I'm sure they'll understand why we're changing it, so that's fine. And the only other thing we've got to sort out is insurance, because obviously we paid for that holiday, and I don't know if we can move it or get a refund or whatever. Dad's got to look into that for us. That is basically everything sorted for that trip being basically just moved a whole year later.
Yeah, so obviously we have got to wait an extra year, but I mean, we're literally about to say the positive and negative, so we might as well just move straight onto that. So we'll start off with the negatives and get the bad one out of the way. And I say bad one because it literally is one single negative. And that's just purely we're not going to be at Disney as soon as we want to.
We thought long and hard about it, and I think we almost knew that we were going to have to move it before I got the phone call from Dad saying it's looking likely we're going to have to move it.
Yeah.
But I think we were all in denial. But I think the weeks prior to that phone call and the day we decided to move it, we had been looking at everything that was going on in the world, and we kind of knew.
Yeah.
And I think that helped us deal with it.
100%, yeah. Like, obviously it's still sad, like, you're allowed to be upset for it, but we're still going to be going, and because we've moved it an extra year, it's going to make it even more special because we can add like extra bits in.
As you're about to see, there is a long list of positives to us moving it, but like the most important thing to me right now is that my friends and family and we are safe and healthy, and we can continue to be safe and healthy until all of this backs off and slows down.
So one massive positive that's come from this,
the biggest positive out of the whole thing,
which weirdly, because it's moved a year, has kind of made this possible, is we're no longer going on one Disney trip, we're actually going to be doing 3. Like, that sounds crazy, but let's break it down a little bit. So 2 of them will be Disney World, 1 will be Disneyland Paris. So the first one coming up will be Disneyland Paris. Which we're going to be going with friends for this one.
It's going to be a 5-day.
So it's going to be a 5-day. So that's going to be around April-ish time.
Next year. 2021.
Obviously next year because we've passed April.
So
we're really looking forward to that. Obviously that means that's going to be my first Disney experience. It's going to be Disneyland Paris.
And it means we get a bit of practice vlogging for you guys, so that's great. I haven't been to Paris since I was like 8, so I can't really remember the park at all, so it's going to feel like a brand new experience to me, which is really great.
But yeah, like we've seen like obviously videos and that, and it's a really like beautiful park, so really excited for that. It is none of these apart from the next October trip are booked yet, but they are kind of planned kind of thing.
I mean, we know what hotel we're going to be staying at, I believe. We know all of the plans. It's just we've got to wait a little bit closer to the date to actually book. We want to book transport before we book everything else. You don't want to like not have the option to cancel and get your money back, because it can be a lot of money that you could lose out on. As we've seen loads and loads of people learn throughout this whole pandemic, we want to make sure that everything we've got has got the option to cancel.
Definitely,
Because we don't know what happens with the world.
It can be anything, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be all good. So yeah, that'll be around next April-ish. Then obviously we've got the October trip that we've just spoken about. And then moving on to 2022.
Oh my god.
It's mad to think, like, we're thinking this far ahead. But May 2022, we are planning to go back to Disney World. It'll either be 1 or 2 weeks. Obviously, we're not sure. It won't even be booked till next year.
It will definitely be a week. If we can afford 2 weeks, we're going to go for 2 weeks.
Pretty much.
But the plan is to stay on resort.
Yes. We won't go into like massive detail on like where, when, blah blah blah. But 2022 May. We'll be going to Disney World for 1 or 2 weeks.
We've spent hours looking already, and we can't even book anything yet. But
it doesn't hurt to look, and it's always good to like plan really far ahead, because obviously.
It gives me a little bit of happiness as well, looking at booking holidays.
100%, yeah. But it's worked out quite nicely, because instead of having the gap from now to next October, we've got the gap from now to around April, and then from April to around October, and then obviously if we go in May again, like it's like an extra bonus on the end.
Literally.
So obviously one key like positive will be it'll be safer. Obviously even when it opens now, they're going to be doing everything they can to keep it safer. Or as safe as possible, I mean. But because of everything that's going on, like, by next year, in theory, it's going to be a lot safer. We could potentially have a vaccine or just some sort of drug that can control
There will be
this
a
virus.
new normal.
Yeah. Like, so I think normality will be more like it should be.
Yeah, definitely.
By next year.
And I just, if there's going to be less that's taken away from our holiday, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. I can't imagine going up to London at the moment, like for a weekend, let alone going abroad.
Like we've been like stuck inside for like a couple months or so, and like, so the thought of now just going outside and jumping on a plane, a bit unrealistic really.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
No.
Don't want it to happen, to be completely honest.
No.
So another big thing about next year is it is the 50th anniversary, so limited edition merch. Loads of new stuff opening, maybe not quite as much as they had planned because of the delays that they're going to have, but it is just going to be amazing. Okay, yeah, it might be a little bit busier, but then it might be a little bit busier just because of COVID anyway, so ignoring all that, we don't care about that. We're still going to be there. We are going to get some amazing things to bring back.
So a positive, which is kind of just our own thing, is we have more time to get fit / just lose a bit of weight for Florida. Obviously we didn't want to lose like tons and tons of weight, blah blah blah. Like, it was just to lose enough that we could feel comfortable, like if we have like our top off, like the water park or whatever, as well as eat anything we want, basically.
Food is a big part of a Florida trip, and I don't want to have to worry about my waistline.
Yeah.
Basically.
We want to lose what we're going to gain back, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And then moving on from that, but linking in a bit, another positive is that we're going to go on a few fancier meals. So because we are going to have a bit more money, we're going to be going to some of them fine dining places.
Yeah.
So there is a plan that possibly one evening we will separate off from the other 4 and go for like a little couples meal, but go somewhere really fancy. We're a little bit more experimental with food than the rest of the family, so we could go to some nicer, less American cuisine.
So that's all the positives we've got like sort of jotted down and what we've gone over, but I can guarantee there is a fat list more that we could do. Negatives, there's just no more negatives.
No. Yes, it's sad, and everyone has every right to be sad if you have to move a holiday, but you know, we're still going to go, and I know we're still going to get to go more than once.
Yeah.
And
I think like
we've got a life ahead of us with Disney. So.
And people that are going like this year, obviously I see so many posts of people going in like August, September, October, and like all the end of the year and that, and people were still kind of like, oh, we're holding out to go, like this is like our first time in so many years and that. But although like it'll be gutting, you should just probably like think about it. Like, would it really be that bad to wait an extra year, half a year?
The risk.
Like, yeah, literally, is it worth the risk? Would you get like your money's worth? Like, it is really sad to move it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what, it's been like a week or 2 now since we moved ours, and I probably couldn't feel any better.
Yeah.
Like,
I got sad on the day, and I've had a couple of wobbles since, but more or less I'm an emotional person. I cry at everything. And I've been fine.
Yeah.
And I feel it's almost like a weight has been lifted, because every day I was worrying about what was going to happen, what it was going to be like. It's such an important trip for me because it's my first trip with Alex and his first time. I want it to be so perfect, and there's just not a possible way that unfortunately it can be this year.
Yeah. Also, we get that not everyone can just move it to the next year, because not everyone's lucky enough to get like the no extra fees. Like, some people can literally only go this year because of many reasons.
Yeah.
But it's still, if it's a possibility, it's just something to think about, like
100%.
just to get the fullest of like your money and have the best holiday, basically.
Yeah. And you know, everybody works really hard to go to Disney. It's not a cheap holiday. Like, you'd be kidding yourself if you think it is. But you know, we literally change our lifestyle to be able to go on these trips. And that's what, when people say like Disney is a lifestyle, like it generally is, because your whole life revolves around it. There's not one day that goes past we don't talk about Disney, but there's so much Disney you can experience not in the parks. So if you have to wait another year to be there, just embrace everything else.
Yeah, but obviously we're not telling you what to do.
No.
It's just something to think about.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is going to be the end of today's video. So we hope like it's helped you in some sort of way. or like sort of helped you see a different like route with your holiday, anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying, to be honest, right
Just
now.
seeing something positive with regards
Yeah.
to holiday booking, because everything I see at the moment, it's I can't get my money back, and I
Yeah.
can't do this and I can't do that. But you know, you can do things. It's possible.
Yeah, and it's like we just need a bit more positivity.
Yeah.
Like, all the videos at the minute are negative, but we have done a virtual date at Disney.
I knew he
the
was
link
going
will
to
be
drop
down
that one in
below.
there.
If you want to check that out.
Yes, we went to Magic
Plug.
Kingdom for a day.
Yeah. But anyway, that's going to be the end of today's video. So if you have liked it, hit the big thumbs up. Oh, that's huge. And smash the subscribe down below. I will see you in the next one. Mwah.